Prototyping is a way of evaluating how well we have designed a user interface. And the whole purpose of a prototype is to build rapidly some kind of a mock-up or a prototype of the interface and have it evaluated preferably by the real users. They'll give us feedback on how well it works, and then we'll be able to go take that, modify our design, and create a new prototype. Prototypes fall into several categories. We start out with wireframes, which are really just like the outlines of windows, and they have no graphics to speak of, and they have no functionality. We simply draw them very quickly to get feedback on, what do you think of this? Do you think this will meet your needs? How easy is it to use? After we refine it at the wireframe stage, we go to the mock-up stage where we actually start to put some graphics in it. And it's a richer type of wireframe where it looks a little more like the real thing, and it gives us a better idea of what the final product is going to look like. We have that evaluated, get the feedback, modify our design, and finally we go to the final prototype, which probably has some real functionality in it. You can navigate between windows. You may be able to submit stuff and get stock responses just to give a feel for what it's like. And we get our feedback from that. And after we get the feedback from that, we would hopefully discard all of the prototypes and then start afresh with our real implementation. So this can be an expensive process, but it is considered worthwhile because it's going to get all kinds of feedback from the clients as you go through the design process. Now, we also want to be able to put in customization for our interfaces, which means that the bank teller and the bank customer should use the same interface but see a different view based on what each one has to do. You may also want individual customization where you can select how your toolbars are laid out. Do you want them docked on the left and the right? What tools do you want in your toolbars? All those are forms of customization, which is a nice thing to provide. We also have to think about accessibility. Accessibility has become a big thing because many people using computers today have trouble with their eyesight, trouble with their hearing, they have colored blindness, they have all kinds of disabilities. There are people who have shaking in their hands who are trying to use mice and they can't hit small targets. So we try and provide accessibility where they can adjust the size of targets, adjust the size of fonts, change the color scheme. All of these things are ways of providing accessibility. Many of the operating systems provide a magnifier so that you can blow up or enlarge part of the screen and see it more clearly. But one of the nice things to do is to be able to provide choices of fonts and font sizes and colors within the application itself. The CNIB website is actually a good example of how you can customize a website for people with all kinds of different visual problems. Finally, we got the problem of localization. You're trying to sell products around the world in an international market, and you want to be able to localize it for each area. You have to worry about color schemes because what color works in one country doesn't work in another. You have to worry about fonts, you have to worry about languages, and you've got to worry about icons. People are going to expect icons that look familiar in their particular part of the world. So there are also number formats, monetary formats. Does the text go left to right or right to left? All of these things have to be taken into account, and that is part of a localization process to make a modern user interface.